Saturday, black market beauties.
I'm calling you a white slaver.
And Hooker wants to set them free. Then,
I'm your son.
Scott becomes an unexpected father on the Love Boat. And it's round one when the wrong girl falls for Rourke on Fantasy Island. The Love Boat will continue in a moment.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
I feel like when I come up with some rough sketches on something, I feel like my brain is thinking through all these potential problems and solutions during that initial sketch process that another person, even though they might own the property you're working with, they're not going to have factored all those things.
If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. For just $3 a month or more, you'll get exclusive access to the Word Balloon e-magazine, featuring transcriptions of some of my best conversations. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Michael Bendis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners.
Familiar and new. Come aboard. We are rewatching you. It's love from a simpler time. Let it flow. Please, let's not capsize. Lots of big stars and comedic scenes. A love boat. Drama that may need some Dramamine. A love boat. Love is exciting and new. A love boat. All right, let me break it down for you.
Welcome aboard. We're expecting you. It's time again for another episode of Emotion Sickness, the Love Boat Rewatch podcast. John Suntress here, along with Franco. And finally, Franco,
yes,
everybody's in place. Now we've got our regular crew. We all suffered through those first two pilot movies and the misfires of those and the really dry, sucky stories that those things had. And now,
wait.
now
You think this is any better?
it's a little better. And we were talking off the air, and Douglas Kramer was originally the main producer of the first two movies,
mm-hmm.
and they knew they had something, but obviously something was missing. So they went to the Magic Man, Aaron Spelling, who, if they're the two guys I think of producers back in the 70s, well, several. Norman Lear would be one, Gary Marshall would be one, Aaron Spelling was another guy who had many shows on the air, and it's like, all right, I know I got something. What am I doing wrong? Help me with this,
How many shows do you think, by today's standards, I don't think it would ever happen, but like, how many shows out there got 1, 2, 3 pilots before actually getting a commitment to series? Nothing like that would happen today, but back in the day, it was also kind of out of the ordinary to get 3 pilots out of a show.
Yeah, and then Star Trek, infamously in the 60s, had their 2 pilots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And also the good news was, and it's not surprising, but Aaron Spelling was already developing Fantasy Island, which in a lot of ways is similar to the Love Boat format. And I think that's why it was really easy to go to him and go, okay. And there are a couple TV movies for proof of concept of Fantasy Island before it became a series as well. So
Wasn't Aaron Spelling also doing I could be wrong because I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Was he doing Love American Style? Was he involved with that at all?
no, I think that was again Douglas Kramer.
Oh, okay.
I have to look that up, but I mean, I know at the time he was doing Charlie's Angels and had other successful shows. He had in the '60s, he had a cop show called Burke's Law, and it was loaded with celebrities because there'd always be a murder mystery, and you go do the rounds and get everybody's testimony, and it was always celebrity guest stars and stuff. So that's the thing.
Right.
Like, it's kind of perfect to bring in. Not that Kramer couldn't get good guest stars, but yeah, I mean, Aaron Spelling was already a well-known guy, and
well, I think Aaron Spelling brought more of the stylization of the show into it with this episode, because like a lot of the stories were overlapping, cross-cutting characters were talking to each other. In the first two, you had none of that whatsoever.
No.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. The stories would interconnect and collide in this one and everything. And also, of course, finally, after two misfires, we get the debut of Gavin MacLeod, ladies and gentlemen, as Meryl Steubing, your captain, and Julie McCoy, your cruise director.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so Captain Steubing came in as kind of a hard ass in in this. He was a no nonsense captain. Where the first two were set up, well, the first one, the Australian guy, was set up as a really no-nonsense captain, and then the second one was kind of more like a loosey-goosey, but he ran a tight ship as well. But I felt like this Captain Steubing was really kind of like a smashing of those two together, literally in the sense of like he was a hard ass, and then he was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm a nice guy type thing too.
Well, by the end of the episode, yes, I would agree. Yeah. But also, the second guy was fraternizing with the crew. They had the poker game and everything. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they're really, I think they really established MacLeod as kind of a commander that kept a professional distance and wasn't about to get too chummy, at least initially, with the crew. And I mean, even here in the scene where he first meets Dr. Bricker, oh, welcome to the Love Boat, Captain. Don't ever call it a love boat to me again, Doctor.
I never use those words in my presence, Doctor. Yeah. But they got rid of the second captain because he was on leave, and then spoiler, by the end of this, they make Steubing the regular captain. They're like, oh, that guy got the heave ho.
Exactly. I got good news because yes, it sounded at the beginning of this movie, it sounded like he was on temporary assignment. And for people keeping score, and if you didn't notice, as far as the episode list. Again, this is the third pilot, and it's been listed before as season 1, episode 0, because it was a year after the second pilot, and but it's not the first episode because again, it was a 90-minute movie.
Right. This one was called The New Love Boat. So you had Love Boat 1 or The Love Boat, then you had The Love Boat 2, and then this is The New Love Boat. So they didn't go with the 3, but they went with The New Love Boat. And then you find out that Steubing is permanent. He's the permanent captain. So yeah. Yep. And then the series starts with episode 1, which will be our next show.
Our next episode, absolutely. Well, let's get into some of the guests that we got. And let's see. And I'm not going to go in order, but we did see Gopher with a tearful goodbye to a girl he's leaving back into port. And it's Georgia Engel, everybody. Georgette from the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
The woman who plays the same character every single time we see her on on everything.
From when she was young, and some people thought she was kind of a hot number, but kind of ditzy character and stuff, to even as an old lady, as Robert's mother-in-law and Everybody Loves Raymond. I mean, right till the end, Georgia Engel always playing that, well, I understand, but not really. And I like that she called Gopher Goofy.
Goofy. And she's making out with Goofy, who if anybody's keeping track, our last episode we talked about Gopher and 14-year-old Christy McNichol making out.
They didn't make out.
it was the same thing. It was a kiss, but he goes from Christy McNichol to the Ted Baxter's wife here in this episode, and then Captain Stubing takes a liking to her too. So yeah, Georgia is, she's cross-generational. She's a cross-generational ditzy woman there.
Well, and also kind of man, and again showing the 70s and stuff. Miss McCoy, find this passenger for me. I want her at my captain's table. I find her intriguing. Yeah, Julie, I need you to pimp for me and find this blonde in a trench coat.
Yeah, Captain Steuben comes in. Oh, it's a temporary assignment. Oh, let's see, who can I get? I'll take this one at my table and this one at my table. Yeah, that was a little like 70s-ish, right?
That's what I'm saying, man. No, pretty misogynist move for Captain Stubing.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
I won't take no for an answer, Julie. Yeah.
Yes, and he is kind of insistent. You will find this passenger, and you will have her at my table, and that's an order, or your job, lady. But yeah, also I was going to say, Ted Baxter. Oh, Lou, look at that. Murray's going after my wife. What the hell's going on, Lou?
Yeah, it was a little bit cringeworthy, I thought, but
very much so. I think.
So I like to call this, he's in the Steuben stalker era right there.
No question. I know. I'm looking forward to seeing how many times, because really for a long time, when we get into later seasons, I guess he'd have the occasional cruise fling, but finally then, way coming up in the ninth season, several years from now, from our timeline, he ultimately winds up with Marion Ross.
Spoilers. Come on. We were going to get to that eventually.
We'll eventually get to that. But yeah, I did find it interesting that, both. So the captain and Gopher are both hot for Georgia Engel.
They're schmutzing with Georgia Engel.
Boy.
But do you think do you think he it's his temporary assignment? Do you think he's like, I don't like this called the Love Boat, but yet I'm succumbing to the Love Boat, Doctor?
I think he wanted to get his, sea air jollies out or whatever,
Do you think that's why he was so testy with
intriguing? What now?
Do you think that's why he was so testy with Dr. Bricker about not calling it the Love Boat? Because he doesn't like that sort of thing until he sees him. Yeah.
Well, the other complication with Georgette's, and I'll call her Georgette, Miss Engel's character is she didn't buy a ticket. She just wandered on the ship because she missed Gopher and wanted to be with him. So technically, this is a stowaway.
She's a stowaway, yeah.
So that's not good. And of course, that's a nice little plot complication for Julie and Gopher. So I love Julie's hair, by the way, with that Dorothy Hamill flip.
I like how they telegraph this as well, because Phil Silvers, who we'll get to in a second, he comes on the ship. Mr. Morris Beekman comes onto the ship. And he's like, "Oh, Julie, excuse me." He doesn't know it's Julie. So, "Excuse me, miss, am I in the right ship?" And she goes, "Bam, you're on the right ship." Bing. Do you need to check a ticket or anything? She goes, "Nah, you're fine." So that sets up to the next scene where Georgette just walks right on. So it's like, "Oh yeah, we need to set up, because just in case anybody would question, hey, how did this lady get on the ship?" They just set it up in the script for you.
That's fair. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I also love that they got to come up with an alibi. They don't want to give her real name. I don't know why they don't want to use her real name, but they decide to call her Frankie Roosevelt.
Right. Well, when you stow away on a ship, that's part of the protocol. You don't give your real name, Johnny. You've never stowed away on a ship before? Come on.
Despite the hat, no, I've never. I was trying to blend in with the crew. That's my move. But yeah, and also Frankie Roosevelt, and I've heard that name before. Well, that was the name for the president. She was a president?
She was a president? Yeah. Oof. Yeah. It's bad, right?
Not good. So we have another couple, and here's our young couple, quote unquote. And we got Gary Frank, who you might remember from the drama Family from ABC in the 70s. This would have been around when he was on that show with Matthew Broderick's dad, James Broderick, and Sarah Thompson or Seda Thompson, I forget. and Meredith Baxter Birney, and the aforementioned Christy McNichol. So they're grifting a lot from the ABC lineup of shows.
Yeah, right.
And his partner is Melanie Mayron, who, man, this is her awkward years of the 70s.
She had a lot of hair.
And everything, man. And also, like, I don't know who was doing her makeup for. Again, like, I'm Mr. Fabulous and I know this stuff. But really, like, I don't know. Do you remember she's the secretary in the 70s comedy movie Car Wash?
I don't remember. I remember her more from 30 something because that's more my age. So 30 something. Gary Frank was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine as well. He was a Dax guy.
Attaboy.
One of the Daxes, right? But yeah, Melanie Mayron, she was on 30 something. I remember her from 30 something, and then I remember she kind of disappeared. And I'm like, hey, I ever wonder whatever happened to Melanie Mayron. She directed a whole bunch of stuff after she left 30 something. So, yeah, she was like, she got only directed 2 episodes, I think, of 30 something. And then all of a sudden, like, she started to get these offers for directing, and she went, talked to her agent, and she's like, well, what's going on with the acting thing? And, why am I getting all these calls for directing? And I begged them to do more, and they only let me do one. Now all of a sudden I'm getting these things. And she goes, well, when you do a good job, they come calling. So she wound up directing a whole bunch of other TV series, and she still does. I think I wrote down one because I forgot what it was, but she did Jane the Virgin. And your friend Malin Ackerman, she directed a bunch of episodes of The Hunting Wives, which is currently out on the Netflix, I believe. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, a lot of actors do kind of transition to directing and stuff. Tim Matheson has done that. Another 30-something guy, Ken Olin, made that transition as well. Yep. And what we know from Star Trek, a lot of times they'll let a cast member direct, and it kind of gives even Robert Duncan McNeil, Tom Paris is an active director. So it happens a lot. Yeah. So, but they're the young couple, and they whirlwind romance. They've only known each other for a couple weeks, and this is their honeymoon. And it turns out they're virgins.
Oh my goodness!
So neither of them know what to do on their wedding night. Basically,
it turns out that all they're really good for is oral sex, because all they do is just talk about it the whole time. They don't do anything about it. They just talk about it the entire time. Yeah, the only time they ever leave their cabin is for raw oysters. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and he eats too many oysters and he gets sick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's have sex now. I can't.
Basically.
And they're both discovering each other's little tics that obviously you learn to live with if you're married, but they didn't know each other long enough. Now that she's finding out that he's a pig and eats a lot. And he doesn't like, and also she keeps boinking him in the nose with her elbow when they wake up in the morning.
Right. Yeah, it's a long and involved pace to get to. They didn't do it. They don't know what they're doing. Basically,
it really is. It really is a Cliff Note story where it's like, all right, you got 2 virgins. They've never done it before, and finally they do it. Okay, right. Now everything's all right.
Sex is like pizza. If you're going to use barbecue sauce, you better know what the hell you're doing. Let
me write that down. Thank you. What's the word now? Thank you.
It's true.
More barbecue sauce. All right. All right. Fair enough. Hey. And then we go to another one of my favorite couples. Once again, we're well into the 70s, everybody. So it's a celebration of leisure suits here on the Love Boat. Oh, the great Pat Harrington, Schneider.
Mm-hmm. Schneider and his stash. The stash there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, apparently a drug dealer, Pat Harrington, in this although he always had a mustache. He had a mustache for one day at a time as well. All right,
he's like an older, drawn out version of Burt Reynolds at this time. Kind of.
A very seedy Burt Reynolds. Yeah. Well, back in the 60s, he did a lot of variety shows because he was a dialect comedian, and he had Enrico Palazzo or something. Well, no, that's the guy from Naked Gun. Hey, it's Enrico Palazzo.
Right.
But he did have a name like that where he would like do a broken Italian like thing, which is hilarious because he was Irish. But also he was on Danny Thomas and his Danny Thomas's oldest daughter on Make Room for Daddy ends up marrying Pat Harrington. And when he was younger, believe it or not a bad looking dude. I mean,
No,
really shave off that mustache, trim those eyebrows, and like under all the, and maybe a couple of years before he was hitting the booze consistently, and that's just a guess on my part. No, he wasn't a bad looking guy in the 60s. If you watch,
not a bad looking guy, but when I first saw the guest list for this, because I've never seen this before, honestly, as much as I've seen Love Boat over the years, I've never seen the first 3 pilot films, so this was kind of a treat for me. But when I saw the guest list, and I'm like, Stella Stevens is on this show, but she's partnered up with Pat Harrington. I'm like, why would they put her together with him? The couple doesn't look to match. But then there's that scene in the bar where he's talking to Mr. Beekman, and I'm like, oh, Pat Harrington's a really good-looking guy. He's a pretty good-looking guy. And then but I'm like, wait a minute, I thought he was with Stella Stevens. When Stella Stevens shows up, she's got that awful haircut that I didn't even recognize her at first. I didn't know it was Stella Stevens till about 15, 20 minutes into the movie. I'm like, oh my God, that's Stella Stevens.
She's got this weird, for the audio audience, Helen Reddy sort of butch haircut. By the way, everybody, if you can't find this on Pluto, and the likelihood I already said this on the audio version, but YouTube currently has this first episode.
Yeah.
Even the dog is very disgusted the way Stella Stevens looks. But yeah, it's this weird kind of butch. I mean, it was, again, contemporary for the 70s. But Stella Stevens, as you know, Francis, the Nutty Professor, blonde bombshell, gorgeous figure.
Girls with Elvis. Yeah.
By the way, former nude playmate.
That's right.
I mean, this is a bombshell woman. And here she could not look more frumpy and domestic. And I mean, literally, there is one evening gown at the end of the episode. But other than that, she's in these really gross pantsuits. Well, their story is they won the trip on Let's Make a Deal, which, again, another ABC tie-in mentioning Let's Make a Deal, which is smart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's how they got the cruise. But man, no, I'm sorry. Again, I don't mean to sound misogynist, but it's like, wow, what a waste of a playmate that you've uglied her up in this episode.
Well, somebody put, the barber put his hand over her face and just trimmed around it because she's got such an oval, like it goes up, no bangs. It goes up and around straight across to her forehead. It's a really bad haircut.
It reminds me of one of your favorite bits that Bobby Slayton used to do about getting your hair cut. You want a mow?
Mow? Yeah, mow. Well, how about Pete Rose? Yeah, she's got a Pete Rose haircut is what she's got, basically.
Totally. Totally. Absolutely. So yeah, now they're there and they're on that second honeymoon.
So also, did you know, I was blown away by this fact. Did you know that she turned down the role for Hot Lips Houlihan in the TV series? Because I didn't know that. I was like, wow.
Well,
wow.
she was a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
Literally a couple years before this, she's in the Poseidon Adventure, and she's Ernest Borgnine's wife. But like all those 60s movies, like we said, Nutty Professor, Girls. Matt Helm, The Silencer, she's in that with Dean Martin. I mean, yeah, and she made another Dean Martin movie. Right now, the title is escaping me, but no, she
was the only actress to be in a Dean Martin movie and a Jerry Lewis movie during their breakup. So she was with both of them. Yeah,
and actually, and Jerry was going to use her for more movies, but once she made the movie with Dean, he's like, gone, no more. And of course,
he was nutty. What are you going to do? Get it, Nutty Professor?
Indeed. Get it. Mother of Andrew Stevens, who later gave us a lot of miniseries and all those great direct-to-video Skinamax movies, like Night Moves 3 was Shannon Tweed and things like that.
Was he? Yeah, I remember all those movies, actually. I think I still have them on videotape where I recorded them off of Showtime.
Does it have the little ripple at the certain nude parts because you kept rewinding it and everything?
I will neither confirm nor deny that. But were they the Andy Sidaris movies? Wasn't he the director who did all those, like, something Malibu with all the Playboy Playmates or something like
Malibu
that?
Express.
Malibu Express, that's what it was.
He did not, but he did make one movie where our very own Ted Lang shows
Ooh.
up as a drug dealer. So, yes, Andy, I was going to bring that up at some point in discussing Ted Lang. But, no, Andy Sedaris, those movies are hilarious. And I would love to have somebody on that knows that stuff backwards and forwards and talk about those movies, because they were literally guns, explosions, and penthouse playmates or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And Andrew Stevens was in a few of those, but I don't know if he wasn't in the Sedaris era of movies. I don't know I think he actually directed a couple of them too.
He did. Yep. So anyway, so Pat and Stella, they're on their second honeymoon, and Stella runs into our own doctor. Where's my doctor picture? Do I not have
Also,
one?
I know that you mentioned that she was a Playboy Playmate, but did you know that she was voted one of the 100 sexiest women of the 20th century? Did you know that? Which is, a century ago. So she, it's past.
Well, I've told you. I haven't said it on this podcast, so I will tell my Stella Stevens encounter. I was at one of those Hollywood celebrity shows, autograph shows, and pure celebrities, no comic book connection at all. And Robert Vaughn was there, Man from U.N.C.L.E.
It's pronounced Vaugana, I believe.
Sure. And June Wilkinson, this British pinup from the 50s and 60s, lovely lady. And Stella was there. And I'm at Stella's table, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll get an autograph picture from Stella Stevens. I always had a thing for her. And they're in a 3-ring binder, like a kind of a combination of either like your trapper keeper for your notes, but also like a giant like photo album kind of thing.
I like the fact that Stella Stevens. I like the fact that she kept all her pictures in her trapper keeper. That's fun.
Her trapper keeper, yeah. It had Holly Hobby on the cover, because she was really into Holly Hobby or Strawberry Shortcake. So I'm going through the photos, trying to find one that I want, and I don't realize, but I guess when you're flipping through these, they kind of angle funny and everything, and they're kind of on an angle. The stack of photos you've gone through. And all of a sudden, in this very shrill old lady voice, she goes, "Hey, you're bending my photos." And I'm like, oh, Miss Stevens, I'm so sorry. She caught herself. And immediately her voice softened. She's like, no, I apologize. It's just, this is my product. And I'm like, man, and literally it went from my childhood fantasies of her in small bikinis to, oh my God, I just trampled over grandma's azaleas. And I'm like, no, ma'am, it's my fault, ma'am. Let me rectify that. But I was kind of
here.
mad.
Let me help you across the street. Yeah.
But I was kind of mad. So the photo I grabbed of her literally in this white bikini, small for 60s. She's on all fours and her ass is in the air and stuff. And it's like, yeah, give me that one. Why don't you sign that one for me, Stella? So that was my revenge. But I was very disappointed. And once again, let's take a look at Stella Stevens. Oof. Big mistake. Big mistake.
Didn't they think, you're showing her picture up there for the audio people who are listening. Did the director think, I had a couple of thoughts about this. At some time, would you maybe just put a hat on her? Anytime during filming, just put a hat on her. Or the next best thing would have been just wait 3 weeks to start filming, because it would have grown out by then. It would have grown out. Those are my two thoughts on Stella Stevens' hair.
Where were you when we needed you? Would be my question.
So nobody hired me as consultant.
Our final couple was, and I love this pairing, but we mentioned it before, the great Phil Silvers from Sergeant Bilko fame, and Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum on stage.
Mad World.
Top Banana, Mad World, absolutely. And he is paired with, of all people, from Three's Company, Mrs. Roper herself, Audrey Lindley. Audra or Audrey?
I think it's Audrey.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
And Audrey is like trying to fight the clock a little bit. And you can tell here that she's trying to present herself as much more younger. And in fact, she tells Julie, I'm looking for single men 27 and older.
Yeah.
Way to go, Grandma.
Yeah.
But and
out of all of the guest stars, she's the only one who's had a lasting effect up until today, where they have the Mrs. Roper crawl, the pub crawl, where people dress up as Mrs. Roper.
Yes, there are just like flash mobs, but there are men and women dressed like Mrs. Roper with the house coat on,
And they go crawling from bar to bar. They do a bar crawl, Mrs. Roper's bar crawl or something like that. It's called, I believe.
Stanley. I meant to mention earlier. All right, so Mrs. Roper, definitely Phil Silvers, definitely Stella Stevens and Pat Arrington, and George Angle will all be on future Love Boat episodes. This is their maiden voyage on the Love Boat, but not their only time that they. But I believe in the case of Gary Frank, this is his only voyage on the Love Boat. He was a serious actor.
Well, yeah, so, judging from his performance on this, I don't blame the producers for not asking him back.
Yeah, not very funny. No, definitely not. So, but yeah, so they as we said before, they kind of interact with Pat Arrington and Stella Stevens, get to know them a little bit, which is nice. And again, there's a little more, rhythm and smoothness to these.
Yeah, a lot of cross-cutting and more interaction with all the guests where we didn't have that in the first two.
No, definitely not. But yeah, so now, Phil, I keep wanting to call him Sid. Phil Silvers is a little cryptic in some of his conversation where, he's older and he's sad. He gets melancholy with the doctor, and it's like, all my friends have passed away and my wife is gone, and I can't help but thinking maybe they're having more fun than I am right now. So he's kind of bummed with life and stuff. And Audrey is, like I said, trying to be, hey, I'm here. And I love when she's out on the poop deck and trying to get everyone to go with her to play ping pong. And of course, all these people that are just lounging at the pool are like, get out.
You forgot the poop deck graphic. Yeah, Love on the Poop Deck. Right. She's trying to get just trying to get people to play ping pong.
This is true. Let me find the yes. Well, first of all, that was, I guess, happening more at poolside.
Fun. Poolside fun, I tell you.
Yes. But no, there were some dramatic scenes with Gary Frank and Melanie Mayron out on the poop deck.
Yeah, the poop deck. Mm-hmm.
I believe the captain was on the bridge, but outside when he saw Georgette.
Yeah, when he waved to her there. But, talking about this episode, and you were talking about the Phil Silvers, Morris Beekman is his character name. And plot twist and a spoiler, he dies in this episode. and you never even saw it coming until like right before it happened. So I'm thinking, these writers are just fresh out of writing school, and they're like, just like they set up the ticket thing with Julie and then Georgette coming in and being a stowaway, they set that up right before. They set him up dying right before the scene where he dies. So there's no indication that he's on this thing to die or anything. Yeah, he's feeling melancholy and stuff like that, but that came out of nowhere for me. That was a surprise.
Yeah, but also, like, when he's talking to the doctor, he's looking him up and down, and he's like, how do I look? How do you feel? He's like, I don't know. How do I look? So, again, now that we know what happens at the end, you can go back and see that was a moment where, again, kind of dealing with his own mortality. But, yeah, kind of heavy.
You're implying there that I need to go back and rewatch this, which I'm not going to do.
Don't do that. Please don't.
I'm not doing it.
Please don't do that. But it's interesting because, he obviously gets into Mrs. Roper and stuff and is like, hey, stop trying to act like a young woman and look like this and act your age. There's nothing wrong with this age. It's a great age. And in fact, he gives his philosophical circle of life speech as well that, well, this is great because we're old and when we go away, then new people come. It's a circle of life. And she's like, aren't you plagiarizing The Lion King? No, it's 20 years from now. You don't have to worry about it. Sorry. Mm-hmm. I could say that.
So, also they set up the birth of Stella Stevens because she becomes pregnant there, which is why she's seeing the doctor so much. And Pat Harrington is upset because she's got a crush on the doctor. She keeps going to see the doctor. Why is she always with the doctor?
Well, also, we get a little backstory that apparently when the doctor was in med school, he stayed at Stella's mother's boarding house. There's a great old thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and she was a young lady and she had a crush on him and stuff. So, and that's
Pat
another
Harrington. Yeah, Pat Harrington is older and he becomes very impotent. So you can't
Hey, Miss Romano, what are you doing spending time with the doctor over there? Hey, I don't like that. Well, anyway, as we said, then we discover, well, first, before we discover his mortality, Morris is feeling very depressed, and he's staying in his cabin, and Audrey figures it out, so she comes knocking on his door, and she wants him to know that she's like, because he had told her with his advice, stop trying to act young, act your age. There's nothing wrong with your age. You're a beautiful woman. Be proud of what you are, and stop wearing a wig. And I guess this is a wig, and that's fine. But then when she comes to the door, she looks like this, and I'm sorry, you can see the other hair right there.
They put an even worse wig on her. Okay, but we talk about the favorite parts of the episode, and there were, but besides the laugh track being introduced here, right? Because we didn't have it in the first two movies, so now there's a laugh track. The thing that impressed me most is when she's going to his cabin, she passes by the beauty salon, and you see the big hair dryers, the two ladies sitting there with the big bulbous hair dryers, and that was my favorite moment of this whole episode, where you see those, when she walks by, you see those two ladies under those big giant hair dryers. Because I remember those back from the 70s. I remember seeing those. And
that's, well, yeah, I certainly saw them with my aunts and female relatives, so I can appreciate that. But I think my favorite part, the awkwardness of Gary Frank and Melanie Mayron, and that it was not funny, and just kind of there. No. So that did make me laugh, ironically. And then also when the captain was trying to talk up Georgette. And at dinner, and so are you related to the Roosevelts? And no. Well, how'd you get your name? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
you're Melanie, still charming, and I still want to bang you.
Melanie Mayron and Gary Frank trying to get it on in the cabin there. She takes 5 drama memes.
Yes. Here, by the way, for that stateroom scene. That's right. What happens in the stateroom stays in the stateroom.
Yeah, and she takes 5. She goes out. She's completely out.
I know I was expecting a big dramatic kind of, oh my God, she OD'd on sleeping pills. We got to get Dr. Bricker in her and revive her, walk her around, pump coffee into her and stuff.
Yeah. So how does she not die?
I don't know, but that's kind of our built-in drama meme scene when you think about it.
That's exactly what I'm
I know. I don't know what 5 drama memes do to you other than make you sleepy. I don't know.
Well, one drama meme makes you sleepy. So when you have 5, that almost kills you.
Does it really?
I
was never taken that many. All right, we'll ask Bernie Capel when he comes on the show. So. But also, we learn because Gopher has been avoiding the captain the whole trip and refuses to tell the reasons why. And then finally, when Georgette kind of exposes herself, not literally, unfortunately, but as a stowaway, well, we're going to get to the bottom of this tomorrow morning at 11 sharp. I'll need time to get over my hangover, but let's talk tomorrow morning at 11. So then we find out more backstory that Burl Gopher served in the Navy, as did Captain Stuving, and Burl was a gunner, and he accidentally sunk the captain's yacht.
Yeah. So was he on the boat, or was he on the warship that Burl was on, or because that was unclear to me, but.
It might have been during wartime as far as Vietnam goes. They never really go into detail, but I believe while they were both in the Navy, they weren't serving on the same ship. That's my assumption.
Right, because they set up in the last movie that Gopher was under the command of that captain. They were all there, buddies. And I like how this crew never acknowledges their old captain anymore. They get rid of him in this episode. He never comes back, and they never mention him again. So.
No. Yep. That's true.
Yep.
So of course, they're expecting, Gopher's expecting to get fired. or whatever, and then Julie's expecting to get fired too for the stowaway thing. But Gopher promises to pay for Georgette to have a cabin, Frankie, and
for her voyage.
and yeah, for to pay for the trip and everything. So that's okay. And they were honest with him, so that's okay. And this is when, well, actually, I'm a real softy when you get to know me. So, but I'm firm. I'm fair, but I'm firm, like a mattress. It's like, all right.
Well, I'm surprised that they didn't use like a little plot twist thing where where when Morris Beekman dies on the ship, why didn't they just let Georgette slide with not paying because he didn't finish out his fare? They could just
put her in his cabin.
Yeah, why not? And I love how. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. And
I was going to say, what's funny is like they find him dead, I guess, in the cabin, and then Dr. Bricker comes out to the dining room to tell the other passengers, and Audrey, she knows for sure. Yeah, she's like, oh, he's not coming, is he? He's never coming again. And sorry, never coming to dinner again, or both coming again. Either
of those things are true. Yes, I think he said that his plumbing stopped working years ago. Yeah, earlier in the episode as well. So everything's shutting down on poor Phil Silvers. But no, on that behind the scenes, I so recommend for people listening and watching. Tubi has this great behind the scenes Love Boat documentary, and they actually say, I forget which, it might have been Bernie Capel, the doc, or it might have been Ted Lang, how people would get on, especially old people would book cruises because that's where they planned on dying, and they would either OD or just do themselves in, and that was one of the main problems of the crew was getting rid of a dead body that's on the on the pleasure
How much
cruise.
of a problem could it be? You're out at sea. It's just overboard is fine. Just
he always wanted it that way. He was buried at sea.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Well, once again, time for another adventure on the poop deck. Let's capsize the kid. Maybe, but maybe that should be done at nighttime.
Yeah, just heave him off the back of the boat.
Sure. And spit afterwards. Good riddance.
Nice. Frankie Roosevelt. Her new name is Morris Beekman. Morissette Beekman.
But the baby will be named Morris Adam Schneider after
Morris Adam Schneider.
after the doctor and after Morris and everything. So the circle of life. There you go. And
that's right.
And that occurs to Audrey. Just like he said, he's dead and now there's new life. So we can all be happy, even though this is a very tragic moment. Sure we can. So I can't think of any other details of the episode.
I think the only one that stood out to me was when Gopher meets Georgette, or what he's talking about when he met, that she was at the plant store or something like that. She's a herbologist or whatever.
I don't think she's even a herbalist. I just think she works at the plant store.
Yeah, who knew Gopher was into plants?
Yeah.
And I like that they show his cabin, not one plant in the place either.
That's a good point. Well, there's barely any windows, so you got the porthole. So plants would die if they were staying.
Come on, Johnny. You and I both know you get a succulent. Those things don't need a lot of light. They live on forever. Come on.
All right, if you've got a green thumb, sir. I don't, but
I don't. But if he's going to the plant store so many times that he meets a woman and starts dating her, like.
I like that you called her a horticulturist or whatever you said she was.
Herbologist. She's
herbologist. It's like, yeah.
She's high on. She reminded me she was high on weed or something like that the entire time.
I'll be in the lab if anybody needs me. Sure. Okay, Georgette. No problem. Absolutely. You know what's ironic? There's a Mary Tyler Moore episode where Rhoda opens a plant store because she was a window dresser normally, but and I want to say there's that. The way that Georgette came on Mary Tyler Moore was she was friends with Rhoda. And so I believe that for a moment, Georgette did work with her at the plant store or whatever.
All right, because didn't Ted wind up marrying her afterwards or something like that? Okay, yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
She's great. Honestly, one of the best character actors. And yeah, fine, one dimension, but always funny. Always funny.
You know what just occurred to me? This is our second episode, and it's really dawned on me that we watch entirely way too much television.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No question. So what are our drama meme moments of the show?
Oh, it's all of them. But if I'm going in story order from 4 being the most drama memes being the worst to 1 or none drama memes, it would have to be 4 with the young couple, Melanie Mayron and Gary Frank. Then Ernie and Lenora, and then Morris Beekman, and then Captain Steuben trying to get it on all over the place as 1. So
I would agree. I think that's
4, 3, 2, 1. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think the captain getting laid is certainly my favorite story.
I like that. That's a priority on this maiden voyage of this ship too. You will bring me her. Yeah, wrap her in bondage. Bring her to my table. Strap her down.
All that was missing was him having like an eye patch and a pirate hat, and he's Bluebeard. Fetch me a wench, Miss McCoy.
The other thing that impressed me, because I've seen a lot of Love Boat episodes over the years, and now this is the first time I'm going to be watching them in order. But his sideburns are immaculate. The barber, I think that's why he didn't have time to do Stella Stevens' hair, because he was shaping Captain Steuben's sideburns, and they were perfectly coiffed to roll over his ears. So if you look at them, they're very angular, very rounded, and I think he took that same approach to Stella Stevens' hair.
I just love how by the book he was, and I'm sure part of it was, all right, I can't be Murray anymore. I have to exude a command feel. Mm-hmm. I love Gavin MacLeod. Listen, I'm going to make fun of him a lot on this show. Mm-hmm. But that said, I want it very clear that Gavin MacLeod has always been one of my favorite actors and could play different things. He was a hippie on Hawaii Five-0 and a recurring bad guy called Big Chicken. And he's, hey man, how you doing, McGarrett? No, and messing with him. And he's in a couple great Andy Griffith episodes as a crook. And then when they were doing in the Color episodes, they were making a movie of Andy's life, and it was called Sheriff Without a Gun. And Gavin MacLeod is playing Andy, and at first he sees him bald, but then when he goes on the set, he's wearing a toupee to make him look more like Andy. He looks nothing like Andy. Toupee looks ridiculous on him. But no, I love Gavin MacLeod. He's a good actor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love Murray Slaughter, but I grew to love Captain Steuben.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
Right
exactly.
now, he's too much of a hard ass and a sex fiend for me to like right now.
But I got to admit, Bernie Capel, I've loved him in everything he's ever done. I just think he's just this great. I mean, from That Girl to Get Smart to all these other things that he's done over the years. I'm always a fan of Bernie Capel's.
I like that how he's evolved on this show to his head looks like a brick because his hair is shaped, and they top it off at the top and they comb it over so his head looks like a brick eventually. This shot. This shot is not that good.
I'm the worst guy to say so and so's wearing a toupee. But he absolutely, I mean, if you go back to like his first TV appearances, like on Dick Van Dyke in like 1965 or 66, he's balding then. And other shows over the and Siegfried, of course, is balding.
Get Smart.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he's great. Well, and he talked about, I want to say, I got to go back and listen to my interview with Bernie, and maybe I'll put that on the Love Boat feed as an extra show. To be honest, I hope Mitch from Terrificon can get Bernie to come, give me the contact info and say, hey, Bernie, we're doing a Love Boat thing. Please come back on the show.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love that. Yeah.
But he was telling me he did one hot tub scene with Brenda Vaccaro on a later episode. And, they wanted him.
Joey Tribbiani's mom?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
That's right. From Friends. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And, but he had to be very careful because of his hairpiece in the hot tub. Because, it could easily become askew with all the water splashing around and everything.
Yeah, all that steam loosens up the glue. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How you doing? Oops. So, but no, and I wish there was a little more of Isaac, but we got a little bit, and we did.
I like how they gave. Yeah, I like how they. The one big line he had was very stereotypical. Hey, how'd you like some ribs? Yeah. So
very true. And we did have a moment at the bar for Isaac pours. And he gave tonic water to Morris.
That's right, 3 of them. He gave 3 of them. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there you go.
All right.
So, yeah, there you go. There's the episode. We don't have a lot, again, we don't have
what's
to.
Happening? Wait, what's happening on the mainland? We didn't talk about what's happening on the mainland.
Stand by. Meanwhile, on the mainland.
You're a big song guy, radio station DJ guy. What was the #1 song when this Love Boat, the new Love Boat, came out in 1977, May 5th specifically of 1977?
Can you give me the band, or is that too obvious of a clue?
Yeah, it's too obvious of a clue.
All right, I'll guess Love Will Keep Us Together, Captain and Tennille.
Oh, so close. It was Hotel California by the Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles. Sure.
The Eagles, yeah. 1977. Yeah. So Hotel California.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Ask Phil Silvers.
That's right, because he's over. He can leave. Overboard is leaving.
What's Morris? What's his last name?
Beekman. Morris Beekman was his character name. Beekman, yeah.
With a K?
Yeah, Beekman, yeah.
Yeah, Morris Beekman sleeps with the fishes. It's the only line that was missing from that episode.
That's right.
So we hardly knew ye, Morris Beekman. We're very sorry that you had to go. Don't worry, though. He'll be back.
He should have checked into the Hotel California instead of the Love Boat. Maybe he'd still be alive. But Hotel California by the Eagles, technically not May, but in January, there was a peanut butter farmer who became the president of the United States, the 39th president of the United States, named Jimmy Carter, who just passed away this last year.
Naval connection, former submarine naval officer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, we know what we're doing, connecting these things together.
Come on.
And then later, technically not in May, but later in August, Voyager 2 blasted off for outer space. And following Voyager 1 out there, we figured out what what's in the center of the red storm on Jupiter, and both Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 reached interstellar space in 2018. Johnny,
they've left the galaxy.
So they left the galaxy in 2018, but they started in the galaxy in 1977. So it took them that long to get all the way to the edge of the galaxy, Johnny.
Fantastic pictures, absolutely, from space.
Yeah. And that's all I know about what was happening on the mainland at this point.
Well, I appreciate that. That was a good segment. I thank you. Yes, we will try and fill in trivia as we move forward. But there you go, everybody. Yeah. We hope you liked it. Next time we will be on the first episode, which again you can now see on. It's available on Tubi. It's available on, or not Tubi, excuse me. It's on Pluto. So if you don't have any streamers, that's a free streamer you can watch the show on to play along with us. And then also if you have Paramount Plus, all 9 seasons are there. And currently, although I didn't try it, sometimes they show a show on Apple, but then when you go to it, say, you need a Paramount subscription. So it may or may not be on Apple TV, but regardless, it's definitely at Paramount Plus and on Pluto.
Mm-hmm. So play along with us. Yeah. In the next episode, you'll be able to see what we were actually talking about.
And enjoy the array of guest stars each week, as we will as well. All right, so we've reached port, so we're going to disembark, but we will we'll reconvene for the next voyage, and we hope you'll join us then. Bye-bye, everybody.